Hello, my name is Kate Allatt, and I'm going to tell you a story about how I've survived a brainstem stroke which caused locked-in syndrome, which happened just over 16 months ago. Initially, my life before I had the stroke was one of busy mum. I had my own business. I used to run 70 miles a week, and I have 3 young kids who at the time were 11, 10 and 6. And on the 7th of February 2010, my life changed forever. After I had 3 weeks of headaches, the junior doctor basically turned me away in A&E with cocodamol and a suspected migraine, only to find that 5 hours later I had the most catastrophic stroke. Now, as soon as that happened, the doctors in A&E put me in a coma for 3 days. I had no idea what was happening. I was totally brain dead. In that time I had various scans, and they revealed I'd had a blood clot on my brainstem which caused a total blockage, and things weren't good. My husband was given a 50-50 chance of my survival. But anyway, I woke up 3 days later after the medically induced coma to a big tube in my mouth, which I later discovered was a life support machine. I did what everyone does who falls over and hurts themselves. I checked my limbs to see they worked, and they didn't. Nothing moved. The only thing that moved was my my eyes, and I was able to blink. The fear of where I was and the noises were all very alien to me, and the hallucinations, the terror, people dying, people turning off life support machines. I felt I wasn't worthy of being kept, and I thought, what if the nurses turn off my machine? I felt so vulnerable. I was often used to pop off my tracheotomy I later had. And the whole experience in ICU, whilst they would save my life, and I have to, I'm eternally grateful to them for saving my life. But emotionally, they thought I was brain damaged. And yes, I was hallucinating a lot on the opium-based drugs, but I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I wasn't turned often enough. I wasn't given a patient advocate who could sit there and communicate with me with the board. And I was in pain because locked-in syndrome, you have pain although you have total paralysis. So it's a very debilitating condition. However, after 9 weeks in ICU, I got moved to a rehabilitation ward, which was unusual because it wasn't the normal stroke pathway of care, and my husband pushed for that, and I really urge everyone to have it in future. And I went to Osborne 4, where after 6 weeks I had my review, and that represented a turning point for me. Up until then, I wanted a pillow over my head. I wanted my life to end. I couldn't stand being a participator in my kids' lives, and the whole idea of it was awful. But at that meeting, when my doctor first wrote me off, and they discussed about me living in a nursing home, was the time I thought, medically, it's down to me. They've given up on me, and it's up to me to get myself better. And from that day forward, after spelling out to my friends and my mum, my best friend Alison, stand by me on the communication board, the fight began. The fight really began. And every hour of every day, I willed my body to move, to make the new pathways. I had intensive therapy, and that was a real lifesaver because I had it early. And I used to will my body, a bit like being at a fun fair where you have to hit the hammer on the button and you reach the buzzer at the top with the button. Eventually, well, every day I got closer and closer to the buzzer. And then one day, I had a flicker of movement. I rang the buzzer. And that's how I imagined it in my mind. And for me, the biggest turning point for me was in May, when I had movement in my big left toe. Yes, it wasn't incredible for other people, but for me, I thought, if I had pathways in my left toe, furthest away from my brain, I might have a chance of restoring everything else. And I had loads and loads of therapy. I had my favourite nurse, Oliver, and I said to him in June, when I couldn't even walk, I'll walk off this ward. And do you know what? I just did that on the 29th of September. And it's on YouTube, actually, my video of my walk. But I also said to him I'd run by my first anniversary. And do you know what? February this year, I ran 20 metres. But what was more incredible was one story that is in my book, Running Free, where I said about my favourite nurse that on the Friday, Woody and my husband came to see me, and my son Woody said very naively, "Mum, say my name, say my name." And I thought nothing of it, even though my husband had been told the week before, he'd never told me this, that I would never ever talk again. And I said Uddy instead of Woody. And they were all very excited, but they kept a lid on their emotions for my benefit, because I didn't know, I couldn't speak. Anyway, all weekend I practiced, and on Monday morning Oliver came to my bay with a box, and he said, "Morning, Kate," and I said back, "Morning, Oliver." Not as clear as this. And he dropped the box and cried, and he said, "It's moments like this I went into nursing." Furthermore, he got my speech therapist, who said what she said to my husband, and she came in and said, "Speak, say anything, say anything." And I said, "Hello, Julia," and she cried. And I'm sat there thinking, what on earth are you crying about? Anyway, that was the start of things. But I'm here. I was on a horse last week. I've done my run. I hope to run the leg in the Olympics. I've set up my new charity, fightingstrokes.org, and we're here to help anyone who's recently been affected by locked-in syndrome. I really want people to get the therapy they deserve, and not to be shut away and palmed off into nursing homes and forgotten about. They're human beings and they deserve a break. And I don't think my recovery was unique. And in fact, anything is worth a try. And in the words of Winston Churchill, all I would say is, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it's the courage to continue that counts. Thank you.